All right, welcome to another episode of the CBX. Man, right now I am sitting in my car right now, waiting on the rain to slow down because it's coming down like cats and dogs. So I figured this would be a good a time as any to to go over the training, the not training, the trading part of the CBX. We're gonna in our first season and every odd season we're going to do what I'm calling the trade purge. And I guess I need to explain what I mean when I say purge. um, how it's going to work is, well, I'm going to take the profile of each team. They got a in 2K, where each team in the league would give you they feeling about, basically how they feel about their roster. So I just call it a roster profile. And they seem to have four different categories. You have teams who are contending, and I'm gonna show you a list of the teams as we go. So these are all the teams who are considered to be contenders, or who feel like they're contending. And those teams are the ones who feel real good about their roster, don't really want to make any trades or any moves or anything to try to mess up their chemistry. So we pretty much going to leave those teams alone come the trade deadline. Then we have the teams that are buying. These are the teams that feel like they are one player away. I'll show you the current teams that fit in that profile right now. These are the ones that feel like they're a player away from being a contender and winning it all. So they are out to buy, and they're willing to pay. They out to buy players, and they willing to pay first round picks, multiple picks, depending on the player that they're buying. Then you have the teams that are selling. These are the teams that are, how you say, are purging, because they are selling. They are selling players like hotcakes, from their best player to their worst player. Whatever they can get as far as draft picks, that's what they're gonna do. So, and then the fourth group are the team that's rebuilding, and these are the ones who want to make deals, but they don't. They're not trying to blow up their rosters like the teams that's selling. So let's get to how it's gonna actually work. Now, come trade deadline, which will be the next video, I believe. How it's gonna do is, each team that are buying gets to go on the wheel of decision, and the wheel of decision will determine which team they would trade with, because the teams that buying can only make one transaction, and in doing this phase, the teams that are selling can only do one transaction. So the wheel will determine who would trade with who, and most likely that team that's buying is going to try to get the best player that they can possibly get, and willing to spend whatever they need to spend. First round pick, first and second round pick, multiple picks throughout the near seasons. So whatever it is to get that one player they feel like that's gonna put their roster or their team over the top. As for the team that's selling, um, doing this phase, what we call phase one of the purge, uh, they can only have one transaction. Now, I already did the wheel of decision, so I already know who's going to be trading with who. And one team got left out because we had one more team selling than we had buying. And that will be the Tigers. We'll talk about them in a little bit. Okay, Now, when we move on to the second phase, the second phase would be doing the draft. So we won't get to the second phase to the draft, and the only ones that will be making trades are the teams that's selling and the teams that are rebuilding. And what's going to happen is the team that's rebuilding is going to they're going to be willing to give up their second round pick. And what they're going to do is when it's time for them to pick in the second round, they're either going to draft the best available player that they can draft, or they're going to make a trade with the team that the will of decision, excuse me, I was about to say destiny, will of decision, already chose for them to trade with. So they either gonna go and get that whatever good recruit that's prospect that's left in the draft, or they're gonna go and get them a veteran off that particular team that they have to draft with. And yes, I already did the will of decision. It's already been decided. As for the teams that are selling, because those are the only teams that the rebuilding teams can trade with, the teams that are selling in this phase, as many times as they team come up when the wheels make their decision, that's how many times they can trade. So you're talking about a team that is definitely going to look different come next season, and they could have as many as anywhere from 4 to 6 draft picks coming in the upcoming draft. I know there's a lot for one team, but like you said, the teams that's selling is trying to blow up their roster because they feel they want to basically hit the reset button. So there you go. So we're gonna blow up their rosters. Now, the killer part is the Tigers did not come up on the wheel in phase one or phase two. So they won't get the purge at all. So what I'm gonna do with the Tigers is I'm gonna allow them to have first dibs on the free agent market, and we'll get to how that's gonna work when we get to that part. So just know that the Tigers goes first, and that's only just gonna be just to fill out the roster to 15. So, but they get to how you say free agent purge a little bit, but only because they was a selling team and the wheel just didn't hit their number not once. So, and getting a little thunder, a little lightning too, and the rain's still coming down now. So okay, and also there's also going to be like I said, we're only going to do it every odd season, the trade purge, and we're also going to have teams who are selling to skip a purge. So all the ones that's selling this year, season one, won't be allowed to be a selling team in season three. They have to wait to season five to purge again. So at least give a chance to see what those draft picks is gonna do. To give them a couple of years, a couple of seasons. So so that's basically how it's gonna work. I know it probably sounds more complicated, but I had to come up with some way of trading. I really don't like doing a whole lot of what you would call turnaround, but hey, why not? We're trying to see how things work out. You know what I mean? So anyway, and by the way, when it does come around again, if their profile said they're still a selling team, we just gonna ignore it and say that they are under restriction and they can't do any trades. Now there are two other types of trades that we gonna do, but I'll talk about them come draft time. Hey, that's it. Hopefully, I explained it as best I could, and hopefully you understand, had an idea of how it's gonna work. So the next video, I'm gonna show you the trades that were made, who got what, who got who. And until then, we'll see you then. And wow, the rain's still coming down hard, so I guess I'm gonna have to get a little wet. But that's all right. Until then, until the next video, you have a good one. Thanks for watching, listening, and we'll catch you later. Bye.